Hey there! I recently hosted a 3-day Vendoo cross-listing challenge, and during the challenge, I was teaching all about how you can use cross-listing to grow your business and grow your reselling income. In this video, I share with you the teaching session from day 3 of the challenge. This is the final day where we're going into all of the features that come with Vendoo above and beyond its basic purpose of cross-listing. It does so much more than just cross-listing, and in this video, you'll get to see me put these other features into action. If you don't yet have a Vendoo account, you'll find a link to get signed up with a free account as well as get 25% off your first month. You'll find that link in the description below this video. Join me for this training. I'm Lee Meyer, and I'm the founder of Listing to Freedom and the Empowered Reseller. And I help clothing resellers make more money without hustling harder. Let's get started. I am back for the third and final day of the Vendoo cross-listing challenge. And we're going to be diving into a whole bunch of different topics today. And one of my favorite features that Vendoo comes with. So I'm going to go ahead and get the presentation rolling. I am going to make sure to share the screen so that you can see, inside of Vendoo, I'm going to be demoing all of these things so that you can see exactly how it works inside of Vendoo and in the back end of my own business. All right, so I'm going to get this screen share set up and we will get rolling. All right. Oops, that is not what I wanted. Okay, or maybe that is what I wanted. There we go. Okay, so this is day 3 of the Vendoo cross-listing challenge. This has been a 3-day challenge. This is the final day where we're going to be wrapping things up, which does not mean that this is the end of learning. I have a ton packed in for today's lesson. So I have enjoyed this week spending with you. My name is Lee Meyer. If we have not met yet, I am the founder of listingtofreedom.com and the empoweredreseller.com. I am a reseller myself. I've been reselling for 6 going on 7 years. And Vendoo has been one of those back end tools of my business, the kind of behind the scenes tools that I use in my business to be able to sell across multiple platforms. Now, it hasn't always been this way. When I started, almost 7 years ago now, cross-listing tools didn't exist. You had to go and manually copy and paste or, upload photos to every platform that you wanted to sell on. It wasn't, really worth your time to be able to do that. There was no way to be able to manage inventory across multiple platforms. And then really quickly after I started reselling, that's when Vendoo first came out and they were doing their beta testing. I kind of told you a little bit about that during yesterday's session and how I got involved with that. So it is, cross-listing and having cross-listing tools is relatively, newer in the reselling world. It's been around the past few years, but it's, it's not something that's been around forever. And so I really appreciate that tools like this do exist to help, make our lives easier and to help us make more money as resellers. So during the challenge, if you've been here the other days, you know that it has been 3 days long. The teaching time is right around 20 to 30 minutes of what I have, planned to share with you. I demo all of everything that I talk about inside of Vendoo. And then it's all about learning how to use cross-listing or cross-posting, whichever you call it, in your business to help you make more money, to help make your life easier, being able to sell in multiple places, getting your items in front of way more buyers. And then during the challenge, we're unpacking other Vendoo features. That is the plan for today. And at the end of each session, I've set aside some time to be able to answer any questions that you might have about Vendoo or anything that we talked about during the session. I'm also giving a mini assignment or mini task to help you, get started with reselling or get started with cross-listing and making the most of the Vendoo platform. So we've covered already in this challenge the if and when cross-listing could help you. Hopefully you've seen how it can help you during this challenge. We've covered the ins and outs of cross-listing. I've gone through, how you can import your existing listings, as well as how you can speed up the whole process by creating your listings right inside of Vendoo. And we also, that kind of leads into the tips for speeding up the listing process. When you create your listings inside of Vendoo, there's tools in there, like just creating them inside of Vendoo is going to speed it up. But then there's additional tools like the templates that you can set up ahead of time. And this is really going to speed up. So you're not having to put in the same information that you would, be putting into every listing. You can have this already set up in your templates. For example, measurements, or if you're listing a lot of pre-owned or mostly, almost all pre-owned items, I'd go ahead and put that right in your template. And this is like a little tip that can help speed things up a whole bunch. The thing that we're going to be talking about today is the other features of Vendoo. And the most exciting one, I think, is how it can help you drive sales and make more sales. So Vendoo is much more than just a cross-listing tool. The first 2 days of the challenge, we pretty much were just talking about Vendoo as a cross-listing tool, how you use it to cross-list your items. And this is much, much different than just copying and pasting and having your items listed in multiple places. They're actually linked together inside of Vendoo so that you're able to, manage your inventory, because Vendoo knows that the item that you have listed on platform A is the same item that you have listed on platform B. If you're just copying, pasting, and not using Vendoo, you're not going to have that intelligence that these items are the same item, that they're linked. So we talked about just Vendoo being a cross-listing tool, but really it's so much more than just a cross-listing tool. Yes, it's a cross-listing tool. Yes, it'll do your cross-listing for you. Yes, you can use it to import, your existing listings and get them out to other platforms. But it does so much more than just cross-listing. And that's, we're going to be diving into all these different features that they've built in. And it's really about making our lives easier as resellers and helping you be able to manage your business more efficiently. So some of the other features that we're going to be talking about during today's session are data analysis. There's a whole, page on this, a whole kind of dashboard inside of Vendoo where you can go in and see how your sales are doing, what sorts of brands are selling, where you're making sales. There's also tools that they've built in to be able to manage your inventory and sort it and see, be able to make changes if you need to make changes. And I'll be showing you how those work. And then we did touch on this, but it is probably one of my favorite features, maybe right behind the one that can really help with sales. So I'm going to talk about this again, and I have mentioned this in the previous 2 days, but I love this feature so much that I'm going to keep talking about it and talk about it more. And that is the auto sales detect feature. Not all cross-listing tools have this. Not all are capable of this. This is like a huge step forward for cross-listing, is to have that auto sales detect. So I'll show you kind of what that looks like and how it can help you. So stale, and then the next one is a stale listing warning. I'll show you where you can set up what you determine to be a stale listing. Like for some people that may be an older listing, and then how that's going to help you make a decision about what to do with those items, as well as use probably one of my favorite, I'm going to just say my favorite tool, which is the relist delist. All right, I'm going to go ahead and actually, while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and give you today's challenge just right up front, is to explore one of the features that we're going to talk about today of Vendoo that you haven't tried out yet. So the features, these are the features here. We're going to be jumping over into my account so that I can show you inside, giving you a demo of how all of these work. But for today's challenge, I want you to pick, just one of these things. If you haven't used the stale listing warning, if you haven't used the relist delist, that does come with the free version. As a reminder, there is a link in the description below this video where you can get started with your free Vendoo trial, as well as get 25% off of your first month. So I'm going to go ahead and switch on over to my Vendoo account. so that I can show you all these features and how you access them, how they work. All right. So, okay. First up, we're going to start with probably one of the least romantic, at least for me. Some people, if you're a data head, you're going to love this stuff. Me, like, I can do the data. I have an engineering background. I have a master's in engineering. Like, I've taken all the statistics classes, all the math classes, all the things, but it just doesn't, excite me, just because there's bigger things, better things that excite me. But maybe you're the data person and you love this. So you kind of do have to have it for your business, for, when it comes to be tax time, which it is right now. So this is something that's really helpful feature that I think that they've built in. So if you go to your account and then export CSV, so that's a comma separated variable file. And this is going to download all of your information from your sales, from your listings, and so that you have that available. If you need to pull, how much money you made for the year, or how much money you made on Poshmark, or, what your fees were, you can pull that all into that. You can get that all from that CSV file. So that comma separated variable file, it's a really simple file. Don't let the tech get in the way. You're going to download it. If you've got Excel, I'm assuming this will probably work with Google Sheets too. If you're a Google Sheet person, those type of software are going to be able to open that CSV file for you. And you're going to be able to do whatever you need to with it. The other piece of this is, okay, I'm going to flip over here to my solds. So I did have, it looks like a couple sales that came through just this morning. For some reason, this one is telling me that it's still listed on these platforms. I'm not sure why that is. So I'm going to go ahead and just click that delist. That's just something to be aware of. But normally they come through like this blanket did, where it tells me that it's sold on eBay, and then it's already taken off. It's already removed from those other platforms, so I don't have to do anything. Now, when you click into the add sales details, this is going to allow you to be able to put in, what price it sold for. This did sell for that price, so it's gonna have that information because it came in through the auto sales detect, but it's not going to know, how much you paid for the item unless you entered that right up front when you were creating your listing. So you could go ahead and enter that now, and then you could enter any marketplace fees. With eBay, it is really complicated depending on if you're a top rated seller or not, and which category that you listed your item in. The fees can vary. And so they do have you enter that. So you can, look in your eBay records and put that in here. You can also put in if you had to pay anything out of pocket for shipping. So for example, let's say that I had free shipping on this item and it was going to cost me $7 to ship. I could go ahead and put that $7 in here, in there. And then I'm going to just X out of this. What that's going to do is it's going to save all of those details about that sale. Now I'm going to just come out and tell you right up front and be completely transparent that I use Vendoo for cross listing. It's how I get sales in multiple places, but I don't make full use of these. So I'm not entering cost of goods. I'm not entering marketplace fees or shipping expenses or any of those things. That's just me. Other people do that. Other resellers do that. Other resellers love that. I don't want any extra work for myself. I've got 4 kids. And so I've just decided, okay, I'm not going to do this. Should I? Yes, I probably should. So you'll have to determine for you, is that worth your time to do that? But what it will do is if you've done this is going to look a little bit blank just because I haven't entered a lot of that information, but it's going to pull all of this data into your analytics page. And so your analytics page is going to show you your revenue. It's going to show you how many items that you've sold. It's going to show where those sales are coming from. It's going to show, so like here, eBay, Mercari, other, it's going to show the categories, what subcategories that you're listing in. So for example, the majority of my sales are coming from women's tops. And then in second place is men's button-up shirts. This is going to depend on the importance of that in your business, and making decisions is going to depend on how much you have. So if you have tons of women's tops, you're probably going to be selling a lot in that category. What this tells me here about, this second one being casual button-down men's shirts, that one being pretty high. I don't have gobs of button-down men's shirts. So it tells me that, percentage-wise, that's probably a pretty good item to be selling. You can look at average sale by marketplace. You can look at top selling brands. You can look at the sold items by marketplace. There's a lot of information in this tab where you can make informed decisions about your business and say, hey, this marketplace is doing really well. This marketplace, not so much. Or maybe it's this brand's doing really well. This brand isn't so much. And so you can make decisions about your business. And all of this data is going to be more relevant, more, looking for the word here. It's going to be more applicable to you the more data that you give Vendoo, which I have failed to do that portion. But if you do that, you're going to get, better data. It's like data in, good data in brings good data out, right? Bad data in, or no data in my case, is going to bring no or bad data out. Next, I want to go to the inventory. So let me go ahead and when I come in here and I see, okay, I have sales, what I do, instead of going in and putting the sales details, I just hit clear selected. Like, I know they sold. I know I have to ship them when we're done with this call. And so they're gone. I don't have to worry about them anymore. But let's go into the active listings here. And I want to show you some of the capabilities that you have inside of managing your inventory. So yesterday we created this listing in the challenge from in day 2 challenge. I'm just going to open that up again because this is one that I did add tags to. And so this is a way to be able to, sort your items. So we put winter, this is a coat. So I put winter and fall just so I know, okay, these are my items. Maybe I want to be able to more heavily promote those items during those months. And so I could come in and say, hey, show me all those items. There's all sorts of different things in here. And I was just playing around with this this morning. So this is, let's see, close. And this should update. So active and then duplicates. It's going to try and find anything that has a similar title. If there's 2 of them that are the same. And you can see right now, I'm not sure why these are pulling in, but there wasn't. When I did pull it this morning, there were, for some reason, 2 of this one. And I'm not sure how that I shouldn't say always happen. I'm not sure how that happens. It happens, on a rare occasion. Maybe I accidentally imported it a second time. It's probably a user error is what I would guess. And so I did go and remove that second listing out of, a few hundred. How many do I have? Out of 500-ish listings in here, I had the 1 duplicate, but it's really nice that they have built in that feature to be able to, pull that up. The other thing that to know about your inventory management and being able to, manage a lot of inventory, because right now, yeah, so 581 items, that's a lot of inventory. And maybe you have 200, maybe you've got 2,000, I don't know. But anything over probably 40 to 50 items, you're going to need some way to be able to, see what you have, see what types of items you've got left in your inventory, and be able to maybe find those items when they sell. And so here in the search, they have built in, so you can search by title or the SKU. And so my SKU numbers, like, I'm going to just look through some. So this is 18. I will say that they dropped the 0. So this would have been 018 in eBay. But let me just put in 18. And then that gives me an easy way to be able to say, okay, all of my inventory within this particular box. So box number 18 is how I do my inventory, how I do my SKU numbers. All of those items are going to come up. And so I can see, okay, I've got 23 items in here. This is a storage that I just listed into. I just refilled it, is kind of how I do my business. And so I can see, okay, these are all of the items in that with that particular SKU. The other thing to know about being able to manage your inventory is you can go and say, hey, show me all the items on eBay that are active. So it'll show here eBay listed and then active. And so these are all the items that are active on eBay. So I've got 568. So that tells me I'm missing a few on eBay. But we could also go, hey, show me the items that are not listed on eBay. So just that checkbox. So I've clicked eBay and then I've clicked view not listed, and it's going to show eBay not listed, active. And so these are the items that are not listed on eBay. So the reason why they're still showing as active is because for some reason they're still listed on Mercari. And you may run into this on occasion if there is an issue on Mercari's end where they're trying to fix it. So that is one thing that I see people run into who are new to Vendoo, and they're like, why am I running into some problems? You're always going to want to look at the top up here of the screen, and there'll be, in different colors. It might be a blue like banner, and it'll say, hey, Mercari's having an issue right now. We're working on it. We're getting this updated as soon as we can. If you see anything like that, then you don't want to be trying to list to that platform or, delist from that platform. So I'm going to guess that's probably what happened with those items. So I would just need to come in and so I could, let me see if I can do it right now. Nope, it's showing delisted. So I'm not sure why. So it shows sold and it's showing delisted there. So that could be, it may be an issue with that. So what I would do if you run into anything like that is there is this box down here where you can come in and let them know, say like, hey, this, and I would give them the number of this item and just let them know. So there's a Vendoo item number here. You can hit copy and you can go in. Actually, we'll do it now so I can show you how. I can figure out how. It's been a while. Okay. How do I contact them all the time. I should know. Okay. You should just be able to type. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Okay, I am going to come back to that. So what you would do is you should be able to chat right in here. So how do I contact customer service? It's really easy. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. I'm missing something. So I'm going to, what I would do is come in and see if I can get rid of that. There we go. I would copy and paste that Vendoo item number so they know which item that I'm referring to. And then say that, hey, this item, it's showing as, it's showing the icon, it's showing the Mercari icon, but when I click into the listing, it's showing delisted. And you could even send them a screenshot and say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. So they know exactly what the issue is and let them know. And they usually get back within a few hours. And you'll get like, if you have the app, you'll get a notification on the app. It'll also pop in here in the chat. And then you'll also likely get an email from them too saying, hey, you got a reply. So you're not having to like sit around and wait to hear back from them. So that can be really helpful. So I also, this is another way that I can see, okay, I've imported listings from eBay and then I haven't quite, got them listed out to other platforms. And so I can see how many. So I just flipped over instead of eBay. I flipped over into Mercari and then not listed. And so these are some of the items that haven't yet been cross-posted. So I imported them back a while ago. This was, the beginning of the year before I started cross-listing inside of Vendoo. And so these are all the items that I still need to like sit down and actually get them cross-posted, which is why I recommend creating the listing in eBay because in eBay. I recommend creating the listing in Vendoo because you won't have to come back at a later time and then, and find that time. That's probably my issue to go and cross list them. You're doing it all at once. And so that's what I switched to right after I got all those imported. And I've been doing that now for a couple months now. So I would recommend doing it that way. The auto sales detect. So I did mention that those 2 listings that came in, those were automatically detected by Vendoo. So I didn't have to go in and put that they, had been sold. That feature is available for everybody on Vendoo. You don't have to have an add-on. You don't have to have anything special to be able to use that. And then the other thing, let's see what's in here. The stale listing warning. So this is going to be, before I get into the stale listing warning, with that auto sales detect feature, you're going to want to tell it. It's under the marketplace connections. So when you go in and you set up your connection to Mercari, when you go in and set up your connection to Poshmark, when you set up your connection to eBay, there's a toggle to auto sales detect. And so you're going to want to have that turned on. If that's not turned on, then that auto sales detect isn't going to work. You need to tell it that you want that feature. And because it still kind of is a newer feature, it is currently just for those 3 platforms. And let me add that 4. I believe it's now for Depop too. So for 4 platforms, they don't yet have it for some of the other platforms like Facebook Marketplace or Tradesy or Citizen. But my guess is that those would be rolled out soon. So it initially started with eBay and Poshmark, and then they've recently added Mercari and Depop. So I believe they're adding a few at a time to get, all of the kinks worked out before, rolling it out to all the platforms. That is my understanding of the auto sales detect. For me, all of the platforms I sell on have it. So I don't, ever have to worry about selling a duplicate because I know as soon as it sells on one platform that Vendoo's automatically going to take care of that for me. And I don't have to, I don't have to wake up during the night or wake up in the morning and go, oh no, did I sell anything? Do I need to go run and delist before it sells twice? It's all, handled by Vendoo. So, okay. All right. So the stale listing warning, this is going to give you a little warning on your item that item is older. And so that can help you decide, okay, what do I do with this? Do I need to discount it? Do I need to, maybe share it more? Do I need to do something to get that to sell? And so you can set this up for different time periods. So there's 15, 30, 60, 90, 120. So depending on what stale means to you, depending on when you want to have this little warning, then you could set that up for a time frame for you. I have mine set at 60 days. There's nothing wrong with going to 15 or going to 120. This is really about your preference and what you're going to be doing with that stale listing warning. Let me go back to my inventory and then let's see if I can. Oh, and I should have showed you this too. So there's this pull down as well, where it's going to sort by your items or by what you select. So there is one for staleist, which is like your older items. And so this you can see, and this is why I wanted to pull this up, is, oops, I'm still in sold. That's why it's not looking quite right. Okay, so I'm on stale list and then my active items, but you're going to see at the corner of that listing that item is, it has that yellow angle on it for stale listing. And that's what we set up. So mine's set up for the 60 days. If it, hasn't been touched for the 60 days, then that's going to show as a stale item. And so that's where that stale listing comes in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go back out of here. Okay. The last feature that I want to show you is the relist and delist tool. And this is one, let me see what I've got here. I'm going to go ahead and close that. This is the feature that I said is my favorite, because what it allows you to do is to be able to delist your item and then relist it to the platform. So it's going to come in with a brand new URL. It is a brand new listing. It's a fresh listing to that platform. But it's all going to still be seamlessly connected and linked inside of Vendoo. So these I already delisted and relisted this morning. I do not do this for eBay. So if you're selling on eBay, you don't want to eat into your free listings for the month. And so I don't do it for my eBay, but I do it for Mercari and Poshmark. eBay does have other ways to make sales, other ways to drive sales. And so that's the other part of the reason why I don't do it for eBay. Mercari and Poshmark, though, as well as other platforms that you're selling on, you do need to do the delist and relist, because those platforms are going to push the newer items. They're going to push the newest items. They're not going to push items that are, weeks or months or years old. They want to have new and fresh items. And so by delisting and relisting, you're basically pushing your items to the top of the search results. You're putting them as a priority in the algorithm. And so you can see that there are these green fields that have popped up because I just did these this morning. So it says recently delisted and relisted on, and then Mercari and Poshmark. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this. Oops, let me go to active. Go ahead and see if I can get some of these going so you can kind of see how it works. So I've done those. And you can sort this. So I have them sorted by newest. I should probably go stalest or, oldest items. And then that would get me those older items. So with this tool, you're going to just be able to do 10 items at a time. So how it works is you're going to come into this multi-action. And then this is where there's going to be a multi-delist and relist. So with this, you can just select that, and it's going to pick 10 items. So right now, 10 items is the maximum that you can do at once. And so all of these items, if you're looking at the labels on them, they're all listed on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark. So we're going to click this red button down here at the bottom, and it's going to pop up and ask us, okay, which platforms do you want to delist and relist from? And so we're going to do this with Poshmark and Mercari. Again, I don't do this for eBay just because I don't want to use up my free listings for the month. And there's other ways to make sales. So I'm going to click confirm, and this is going to pop in with the status as you're going through this delist, relist. And you're going to see it because it's doing it just like you would yourself. So it's going to go in to the Poshmark platform, and it's going to go in and pull that item off. It's going to end that listing, and then it's going to resubmit that listing as a new listing, as a new URL. It's going to have its new a new URL. It's going to have a new item number. Poshmark is not going to know that this is, that you just took it off and you're putting on another one of the same. And then it's going to go to Mercari, and it's going to do the same for that. So let me see. So you can see that it's already gone through 2 of these items, and it says done. So if you see the green, that's good. That means everything, went as planned. And so we'll let this go ahead and do its thing. The cool thing about this is that you can, go in and let's say I have some more items to list. I could come back. Let's go ahead to my drafts. So let's say I have this hoodie here, and I can go ahead and start listing this hoodie. I don't even remember what it is, but we can pretend, and it's a coffee. It's like a cafe men's hoodie, black graphic, we'll call it, zip up. And so you can go in and create your listings. You can put in your measurements. You can, do all the things, and you can save this. I can go into the eBay form and hit submit to list. I can go to Poshmark list. And and do my work of listing. I can, ship or whatever other things you need to do on your computer. You can go into another tab. You could, minimize your Explorer window or your internet browser window. And this is going to keep working in the background. And you'll see when it finishes. So right now we're at 6 of 10 items. You can see that when it finishes, it'll pop in and say, all items are complete. 10 out of 10 items have been finished. And so this is a really good way to be able to drive sales. So I'm going to give, let me see if I can. So I'm going to leave anyways, because I didn't know that was just, oops, just to show you. Okay, let me go into my sold items because I do have one that I wanted to mention. So right after I got off of yesterday's challenge class, I did have this Wrangler sale come through. And this is one that morning, like right before we had gone live, right before I had gone live for the challenge, I had delisted and relisted a few items. I think I did maybe 20 or 30 items. And this is a sale that came through almost immediately. And so this was a full price item. And so the cool thing about the delist relist is it allows you to be able to sell your items full price without having to go in and discount. So this shirt, it ended up selling for $16.99. I didn't have to send an offer. I didn't have to share the item on Poshmark. I didn't have to put it on sale. I didn't have to do anything other than the delist relist, and boom, the sale came through for that full price. And so I would suggest, especially if you're a Poshmark seller, Mercari seller, where you need to be sending out discounted offers every time. You can't send out the same offer over and over again. It has to get like 10% better every time, 10% lower, 10% less of your profits. That if you get to that point of like, okay, I've dropped the prices as much as I can, then do the delist relist with Vendoo. Vendoo, makes this super easy. So you can see that this finished. It does, take some time. It's not instant by any means. But during this time, I've been able to list, I've been able to talk to you. You can do whatever else you need to do on your computer while it's running. And then you can either close this message area out, or you can click that keep delisting, relisting. So I'm going to go ahead and I think this is pretty much about everything that I had planned for today. If there is one feature that I would recommend using and trying out if you have not already, it is that delist relist tool, because it is probably one of the easiest ways to make sales, but you do need to be consistent with using it. So I would recommend just setting that up as part of your daily routine to say, hey, I'm going to do this for 10 items or 20 items or whatever that is, delist and relist them, rather than just coming in one day a month and going, oh, I need to make some sales and doing it. You're going to be a lot more, you're going to get a lot better results when you use that tool consistently and when you're using it on a daily basis. All right, so this concludes our 3-day cross-listing challenge. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen here and get out of this presentation so that I can see if there's any questions that need answered. I don't know, my computer is what it's doing. Okay. I can keep it that way. All right. So thank you so much for joining me live for this challenge. I hope that you've learned a lot. I've enjoyed spending this time with you, and I wish you a fabulous rest of your day. See you soon.